Well, my day job is that of being an advocate. I'm a senior counsel and I practice law here in Johannesburg, in the main.
Wow.
My chambers are in Sentin, 82 Maud Street, Sentin,
Oh,
and I am in a group called the Pan-African Bar Association
yes.
of South Africa,
Yeah.
PABASA for short.
Yes, yes.
But I've been in the practice and of the law since 1984.
Born, guys.
I
Yes,
started
yes.
off as an attorney in the Eastern Cape, in that part of the Eastern Cape called Transkei.
Wow.
And I was born and bred there.
Yes.
And I had a time teaching, and I always pride myself to say one of the people I taught is General Bantu Holomisa.
What? For real?
In the then
Yeah.
John Delisle College
Yes.
for sons of chiefs and headmen.
Wow.
I taught them history, I taught them administration, I taught them politics,
Wow.
I taught them English.
Wow. That is a very huge accomplishment. It's beautiful.
I also am proud to say I was a lecturer at the University of Transkei then. It's called
Yes.
the Walter Sisulu University now.
Yes, yes.
And one of the students who were in my class for criminal law and the law of evidence was the flyer today called Tembeka Mukaitobi SC,
Wow.
one of the brightest lawyers
Yes.
in South
South
Africa at the
Africa.
moment.
Yes.
You recall
Yes.
that
Yes.
he was one of the legal team that went to the International Court of Justice
Yes.
representing South Africa
Yes.
in
Yes.
a case against Israel recently.
Wow.
That's enough about me.
You know, I feel like I could even write a book, like, wait, king, books after books after books. But let's just get to what we are actually here for today. Today, Remo, the Human Rights Lecture. Just educate our listeners right now for what are human rights and how effective, what role do they play in our lives as South Africans?
You know, human rights are as old as human beings. And the need for, especially this
Yes.
post-apartheid government, to focus on human rights is because even though human rights,
Yes.
right to freedom, right to human dignity, right to freedom of expression, right to health,
Yes.
right, a whole host of rights which are now captured
Yes.
in Chapter 2 of our current Constitution,
Yes.
108 of 1996. All of those rights have always been there. But the importance about it now is that for the first time in the history of South Africa, there was something called a Bill of Rights.
Yes. Yes.
And that Bill of Rights enshrined rights to which human beings were entitled to.
Yes. Yes.
Human dignity, freedom, equality, and then several other rights. Rights to health. All of those were guaranteed in what was called the Human Rights Chapter
Yes.
of the Constitution,
Yes.
or in what came to be known as the Bill of Rights.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And for the first time, in the history of South Africa since colonialism. And that dates back to something like 350 years ago,
Yeah.
since the arrival of St. Jan van Riebeeck.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
there was a document which entrenched
Yes.
rights and said these rights cannot be violated ordinarily.
Exactly. Exactly.
They are rights which are inalienable.
Yes.
You can't
Yes.
take them away.
You can't, definitely, definitely. I think your team is calling you, but before I let you go, what message of hope can you actually give to young people out there who aren't utilizing the human rights or who don't know much about human rights? Because we are young people, we literally don't care, you know, and even if we do, but we're not that vocal about it, what message can you give to such youth?
There's nothing magic
Yeah.
about human rights.
Yes.
It is something which, when it is explained to you, you say,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
human rights are about freedom, are about human dignity,
Yes.
are about equality.
Yes.
And
Yes.
as a young girl already, that
Has
speaks to
everything.
you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
South Africa has been a society where the rights of females,
Yes.
the rights of young people have been given no primacy.
Yes.
And therefore, for you, when you get to know that this is a right which is inalienable,
Yes.
nobody can
Can
take
take it
from
away.
you,
Yes.
that gives you something to look forward to.
Definitely. Definitely.
Because then you know there is a constitution which I can always read. And when I see that the rights which that constitution guarantees
Yes.
to me are being violated,
Yes.
then I have got, at least in South Africa, courts which will interpret the rights enshrined in the constitution in my favor when they are violated.
These are qualifications that are internationally comparable and recognized. We have been having partnership, a formal partnership with the South African Human Rights Commission, which
Yes.
has gone beyond more than 2 decades, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And then the reason why we have partnered with the South African Human Rights Commission is that we believe that children issues are also human right issues. So in our program, we have incorporated, some modules that talks about their constitutional rights, Section 28, Bill of Rights, and other many alien rights.
Yes,
And
yes.
we capacitate them because we believe that if people are empowered and they understand their human rights, then that will enable us in turn to strengthen the so-called constitutional democracy.
Yeah.
But if citizens and communities are weakened, that in itself constitutes a serious threat, to the proper functioning constitutional democracy. So that's the purpose why we have really partnered, and we have seen people coming, bringing cases to say our rights are being violated
Yes.
across various ECD service modalities. We have seen violence and abuse muted to those who take care of the children and the children themselves. And in the past, before our partnership,
Yes.
this abuse and human rights violations
Exactly, yes.
were not mainstreamed.
Yeah.
But now we are able to expedite the process and that assist them to lodge, the complaints following the complaint management mechanism that the Human Rights Commission is having, so that those matters can be investigated and
Yes.
the perpetrators be dealt with.
Yes.
Yes, we are still in that journey. Yes, we are having some challenges and so forth. As you can see that
Yes.
there is unemployment, there is poverty.
Exactly. I think
and so
that's
forth.
something I
These
wanted to
are-
touch on now.
These
Yeah.
are challenges,
Yeah.
especially issues around land issue, because
Exactly.
some of these people, I find themselves operating in a very,
Yeah.
unfolding conditions,
Yeah.
and informal settlement,
Yeah.
which are not, proclaimed. And all this is as a result of apartheid spatial planning. And we have seen also in various municipalities that we have inherited the very same bylaws that
Exactly.
came as a result of apartheid spatial learning, and these
Yes.
are outdated, outmoded bylaws which does not necessarily resonate with our people. That is why we always argue that one cannot put certain standard
Exactly.
in Alexander, certain
Exactly.
standard in Tembisa, and so forth. So there are those injustices on that front. There are those imbalances on that front. But we are soldiering on, to ensure to it that the historically disadvantaged
Yes.
in our sector, are being, assisted, and these issues are being addressed, because these are purely human right issues.
Facts. Facts.
So let me pause there.
Facts. No, you know
that's
what?
what we are about
Yeah.
as Muteo Training
Yeah.
Institute. That we are an accredited
Yes.
training provider, accredited by ETTPC, accredited by EQCTO, which is one of the council, offering qualification that are registered within National Qualification Framework by the South African Qualification Authority. And this brand has become, a continental
Yes.
brand. We've got a
Yes.
huge experience. So some of the workshops that we do, we co-facilitate them
Okay.
with the Human Rights Commission. That basically, that's the essence
Yes,
of
yes.
our,
The work that
partnership,
you
and
do.
we believe it is our duty as a civil society
Yes.
organization to continue to
Yes.
champion the
Yes.
human rights, especially the right of the children and those who take care of them. You will recall that early childhood development
Yes.
is also being prioritized as one of the apex areas, because when you look into the National Development Plan version 2030,
Yes.
2 chapters are dedicated into early child development, but that does not necessarily translate
Exactly.
into budgetary allocation and so
Yes,
forth.
yes.
Often the sector is neglected. So we are calling on government to say, please, since early child development is one of the apex area,
Yes.
please release budget, talk to Treasury, we need more funding.
Yes.
And then also, we are also mindful that South Africa is also part of the international signatory in various, children right charters.
Yes.
And as such, it needs
Yes.
to fulfill the commitment that it has made into those international human rights charters.
Definitely,
And as such
yes.
must be evaluated, such must be measured, so that we can see how far are we
Yeah.
progressing
Yes.
with regards to those international human rights charters.
Yes.
So basically,
That's
these
true,
are
yeah.
issues.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's very true. And how do people actually join in, or what can they actually do to partner with you? How do they get hold of you?
Our people, they can contact us at www.rexmoteo.co.za,
Okay.
and then they can also phone us on 011 962 1698.
Okay.
We will then be able to, assist them. We are, a community-rooted organization. We are about championing
Yes.
the rights of the ECD workers,
Yes.
the right of the children.
And
That's what we are
amazing.
about.
So where are you based specifically? Which organizations or communities do you work within?
The head office of Muteo Training Trust is situated in 107
Okay.
Kempston Avenue in Benoni,
Okay.
which is on the eastern part of Gauteng. But otherwise, we operate throughout the country in
Nice.
all the 9 provinces, and we also operate outside the borders of South Africa, because we are also having a very strong branch in Namibia on the area called Okashaki East. It is near Gunene River. So this has become a continental brand.
Yes,
And then
yes,
it is the
yes.
brand that has prioritized women empowerment. It is the brand that has prioritized youth employment, because when you analyze and look into our staff,
Yeah.
you'll see we have employed youth,
Nice.
because we believe in youth because the youth is the future, so as the children.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Rex, for joining me on this platform, and all the best with your future projects.
You are welcome, and I hope that the reflections that were shared through the lecturer delivered by Justice Nsebenze on the 67 years of human right, and then also the 30th of this constitutional democracy will be taken seriously, and all its challenges the civil society will reflect deeply, and so that we can programmatize them and let them translate into a program of action, so that we can find resolve on these many challenges.
Definitely.
If they're not being attended to, definitely the situation will spiral out of control, and it will be chaos
Exactly.
for South Africa.
Exactly.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.